everybody, and welcome to Hex Token channel. Hope you guys are doing well out there, and the audio is up and running. Let me just check that. Sounds good to me. So check. That's what you got to do. And yeah, big welcome. Now we're going to be talking about the stock market. We're going to be talking about the crypto and the crypto news. We're going to talk about Hex, and of course the title is Richard Hart done told you. Richard Hart done told you, and of course. Is it time to buy Hex? And of course, the chart is looking teasing at the moment. We have a bit of a window opportunity between the interest rate rises. Let's see. And of course, we're going to hear from Richard Hart himself and on a video that he played. And of course, let's see what insights you can gather from that. Obviously, nothing on this channel is investment advice. You could do your investment due diligence. After that, of course, we're going to look at all the Pulsechain projects. A lot of updates. We've got some exciting stuff around Pulsepot. And of course, a few other projects. We've actually got quite a few project updates today. We're also going to be talking about ETH Power and ETH Fair, and of course the Hex Daily Stats. So there's tons to talk about. Isn't that great? And we've got the weekend in as well, so it's going to be fun. Let's see where we end up. Let's see who's in the house. We've got a BC in the Matrix. Oh yeah. Which reminds me, we've got a cool poll up and running at the moment. So smash out that poll. And of course, people love polls. I love polls, and we do polls a lot on this channel. We used to have a bit of a gap there between the Maxi and when we did the Maxi team perpetual coverage because that was a priority at the time. Obviously, huge for Hex. Massive 1.1 billion Hex off the market through the Maximus ecosystem, and of course, that's only going to get better and better and better with the DAO, the team DAO there. We're going to talk about some updates around that too. Time to buy some more Hex? Yes, maybe, no, not sure. So maybe basically means possible if you're wondering what the difference between maybe and not sure. Not sure means you have no clue, but maybe means possibly. Possibly I might do. Yes means that, yeah, 100% you're going to DCA. It doesn't mean you're going to buy everything at once. You're just going to dollar cost average, all that sort of stuff. That's what our general principle on this channel is. So let's see how we got 15 votes already. Get into that, folks. Who else is in the house there? We've got Ted Nelson. Good morning, Hex Token. Hey, everybody. Hey, good to see you. And a Crypto Dan. Hey, Crypto family. Good to see you, Crypto Dan. Woohoo. Hex Token channel members too. Both Ted and Nelson and BC. Very, very sweet. We've got Blobfish King, another Hex Token channel member. Hex on 3 chains in the best yet to come. Pulsechain, one day closer. Absolutely Blobfish King. Couldn't have summarized it better myself. And those emojis are looking absolutely smashing as well. We're going to have a fun session, man. It's going to be a good session. Hope you guys enjoy this one. Get into the chat as well. If you know any alpha, of course, drop it in the chat. We always like to hear some perspectives there, and of course any intel that you have. Crypto Tycoon, hello Crypto community, checking in. Hey CT, good to see you. And Unpredicted Hex, morning all. I'm waiting for DXY to top at 115 to 20. Then I'll buy more. Says Unprotected Hex. There's a little bit of strategy there for from Unprotected Hex. We got Blair SM. Hey Blair, it's been a little while. Good to see you. Hey all, good to see you as well. Hope you guys are liking my short form videos. We're ramping those up on this channel, so expect more of that to come. I've got a couple of new topics for today, so check out those videos, short form videos. And of course, we're moving to one live stream today, which is now, and of course, a whole ton of short form videos, either tutorials, insight videos, breaking news videos, or what is the other video I do? Some other type, I can't remember what it is, but that's what we're going to be doing. So I hope you guys enjoy that. And of course, you can provide feedback in the comments if you're watching after this live stream. Let me know any topic that you think that you would like me to cover, and I will evaluate that, see whether it fits in with the program. Definitely is going to be cool. Sandy Beach in the house, one of our awesome moderators and amazing community members. Good to see you, Sandy Beach. And yeah, Sandy Beach does live near a beach, and when she goes for holiday, she goes near a beach too, which is cool because it's exactly what I would do when I used to surf a lot. Sandy, I used to go to the beaches all the time. And I used to have the ultimate look. That's what I used to work on, was getting the ultimate surfer look, and I had got it down pat. Once I had done it, though, I had achieved it, and then I moved on. But it took a couple of years just to get that, and that was pretty fun. This is the way it goes, you know. All right, let's get into it, folks. Welcome. And, of course, the Dow in the worst quarterly streak since 2015 as bears in control. That's the other part of my title. Bears control stock market. Crypto holds up, though, so let's check that out. Dow in the worst quarterly streak since 2015 as bears in control, and no surprise there. Let's have a look at the indicators. And of course, we've got the Dow Jones, the top of 30 industrials, down 500 points, down 1.7%. Another big day after yesterday, down to 28,725. I said once it got under a 30 properly, that's not a good sign for the Dow. And of course, it can scale off quite a bit more as we move forward in time, subject to the inflation and interest rates. So we'll talk about that. Standard & Poor's is down 55 points, down 1.5% again. And of course, that's down to 23,585. NASDAQ down 1.5% as well, down 162 points. Remember, the NASDAQ has a lot of the tech companies in it. It's down to 10,575. And of course, what else we got there? We got the volatility index is actually down a little bit too, which is interesting. And normally it goes on the upside. The dollar index there is pretty much even at 112 versus its trading partners. Let's jump over to the commodities. And of course, we've got Brent oil there down to 85.56, down to $1.60. That was almost down 2%. West Texas down to $80 there, down to $1.50. Also similar there. And of course, if we look at the last month, $88, we're up 88. So we actually just, knocked off. Oh, sorry, let me just go to the monthly here. We've got the just at the top there, $100 there at the beginning a month ago. So now at the beginning of October, or the end of September, I should say, American time, we've got the price down at the moment at 85. So we've come off $15 in the oil over the month. So that's pretty good for nominal inflation. Obviously, core inflation excludes the crude oil there. Gold at the moment is at 1668 and not doing much great there. But silver at $19 there, up 30 cents. And of course, Kiyosaki out there, Kiyosaki, I hope I say his name right, is talking about people accumulating, poor people accumulate some silver. He says in the next couple of years, silver will be a good hedge and a good appreciation asset. And of course, I think he's talking about several X returns on that at 19. And of course, we're going to talk more about that in a video that are coming out later on today. Stay tuned. This is we're going to be talking about stable coins on Pulsechain. It's only getting better. It's only getting better. We're going to talk about that in a video today. So I hope you guys enjoy that little bit of alpha drop later on. It's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, we've got copper there at $3.38 and soybeans down 3% on soybean food. And of course, we've been meaning to talk about food in more detail. I need to get around to that. We'll do. Let's look at the commentary. The Dow fell Friday, rounding off its worst quarterly losing streak since 2015. That has pushed stocks into bear market territory. And of course, let me just get rid of that comment. Got to make sure the comment's off there. What else there? Since 2015 has pushed the stocks into bear market territory as investors prepare for further federal Reserve rate hikes to cool inflation that continues to run hot. Now, obviously, when I put something in red, that means it's bad. And of course, when I put something in orange, it's slightly bad. And when I put something in green, it's good. When I put something in yellow, it's somewhat good. And if it's in gray or purple, that's kind of neutral or mixed. So there we are. The personal consumption expenditure price index, the Federal's preferred inflation measure, showed that inflation rose more than expected in August. This compounds the pressure for the Fed to stay on course in its fight against inflation, as Stifel said in a note. Fed Vice Chairman Lau Brainard on Friday cautioned against the central banks reversing course on monetary policy too early, saying monetary policy would need to be restrictive for some time. Now, this some time is really a worry because obviously it's the 1st of October here in Kiwiland, so 3 months. So sometime 3 months, because obviously we don't want interest rate hikes really to go into 2023 and keep rising because of the inverse relationship to asset values across all markets. And of course, that includes crypto. Crypto at the moment holding up at the moment, but of course, with enough pressure, it can still go down because obviously the same issue with interest rates. Restricted for some time to have confidence in that inflation is moving back to target. Now, obviously, if the best scenario for the Federal Reserve is if inflation starts to naturally come down, which what it can tend to do, and of course that they don't have to close the interest rate gap as much, because typically if you want to really deal with inflation, you've got to get the interest rates really high towards that amount to get it down to 2%, which is kind of the target that they want to get to. Obviously, if it's around about 6.3, 8.3, 8.5, and then you've got about a 6% difference there. And of course, the Fed funds rate could go up another, they want to target 4.5% on the federal funds rate. But of course, maybe they really need to go to closer to 5.5%, 6% there, especially at the moment. So let's have a look at that. after rate hikes by 3% in just 6 months. So that's how much we've raised the rates. The Fed continues to echo the need for further hikes, stoking worries among investors that the central bank could overshoot on tightening and push the economy into deep recession. And of course, this is the big worry that we don't want to play out. At the moment, of course, I do think that in November, the next rate rise, interest rate, that they've got the midterms, and I do suspect that we might end up seeing a soft 50%, but 50 basis points as opposed to 75 to please their masters. And of course, they're supposed to be neutral, but of course, as I keep saying, and you can go check it for yourself if you look at their policies, they're not neutral policies that they're putting in. So they're talking about stuff they shouldn't even be talking about, and doing policies they shouldn't even be doing. So you can do the math yourself. The push higher in inflation, however, hasn't yet had a material impact on consumer. And of course, this is typically lagged anyway. Employment, consumption is typically lagged, but it's definitely starting to eat up. I think we're starting to see those green shoots of high interest rates starting to have their impact. And of course, we see that in the property market most of all, I think. According to personal spending data Friday, to force a material change in consumer spending, remember 70% of the US GDP is consumption, and it is the consumption engine of the world as well, not just obviously US, but consumption of the world. And of course, that integrates with all the big economies, in particular China as well. So it's a big deal. To force a material change in consumer spending, suggesting a deep recession isn't on the horizon. And of course, at the moment, it's holding up. But in 3 months' time, we could have a very different picture. And that's what we need to be thinking about, that picture in consumption, and to see how that goes. We haven't seen that change in consumer spending habits, says Brian Mulberry, client portfolio manager at Zacks Investment Management, told investing.com in an interview on Friday. Our forward-looking earnings model shows that companies are forecasting strong sales estimates. That being said, we've already started seeing some cracks in some of the leading tech companies, and some of the leading tech companies like let me just think now, like Meta and things like that. They are the FANG stocks, as we call them. They are starting to show cracks, starting to show holdings in employment, hiring, and things like that. So definitely cracks are emerging, and these are the ones that really lifted the tech stock values. So really, if you look at all the stock values, while we've had good earning seasons, it's really the top 5 to 7 tech companies that really drive a lot of the actual value in the stock market, particularly in the NASDAQ and S&P. So cool, that's where we are at the moment. But it's positive. At least their forward-looking estimates seem to be holding up, maybe a bit longer. So maybe this will drag out a bit longer, and before we get a bit of a turn on that. But the interest rate rises, next rate and the next rate after that, they can start to have impact on the markets for sure. Growth sectors like consumer discretionary and tech have been in the crosshairs, with the later down 31% this year. And of course, that's the tech there, as a rising rate environment has soured investors' sentiment on stocks with higher valuations. So that's pretty important. Despite the brutal quarter of growth stocks, Mulberry says it's too early to rotate back into growth from value stocks because rates aren't going up. Rates aren't done going up. And that's very true. So we've got to be a bit more cautious about that as well in the crypto market also. And of course, I guess November is kind of where we're feeling that we might end up getting maybe that retrace in crypto, but it could happen in October. But the reason why I say November is because that's when we've got the interest rate rises. In October, we've got a bit of a window of opportunity. And of course, maybe the market can hold up there. The earnings front, meanwhile, did little to turn the tide of negative sentiment, and Nike stumbled nearly 30% across quarterly results that bet Wall Street expectations, but the sportswear giant cut its outlook on gross margin as price cuts will be needed to clear inventory levels. Nike lowered its gross margin forecast by 200 basis points due to the need to aggressively discount mistimed inventory as a result of supply chain challenges. Goldman Sachs said after cutting its price target on the company to $98 from $120 prior, that's pretty significant pullback. Now you got to remember these analysts in Goldman Sachs, these investment banks, they can influence markets. They can also manipulate markets, and I've seen it many times. So when they put out research reports, they've got an investment arm and a research arm, and of course sometimes they look like they're colluding together. So I just got to take care out there with these ones. All right, let's jump over to the crypto. Bam. And of course, check this out. There we are at the moment, 19,425. Not too bad for BTC. We really want it to break over 19,700. That would be very bullish for BTC, and then rocket over that 20K. And maybe we've got a window of opportunity in October to do that before we get this anticipated retrace that we're expecting. Maybe that might actually occur in November with the interest rate rises. We'll see. This kind of feels the most probable outcome. But of course, markets will be markets. Ethereum there, 1,326. Obviously pulled back after the ETH merge, which is pretty successful. But of course, buy the rumor, sell the news. And here we are at 1,326. BTC actually holding up relatively strong, even with that grayscale discount. That's kind of where we're at the moment. BNB at 283, holding up pretty well relatively from its all-time high. And of course, XRP doing pretty well lately as well. We can see a few green shoots there with Dodge, Atom, and stuff like that at the moment. What else is there? Maddox, not looking too bad there, but it's way down. Remember, it used to be over $3. It's kind of crazy. SHIB there up 1.83% as well. And of course, we have had a bit of fun with the old Lunar Classic there at up 7.8% there at 0003 on Lunar Classic. It's been having a bit of fun. And of course, there was a big deal there about the burn and Binance and the burn on the Lunar Classic there. So it's caused a bit of momentum in that. So this kind of seems to be some of the highlights there. Let's jump over to some of the news in crypto. FTX is going to pay $51 million in cash. So FTX Exchange for the Voyager assets, obviously one of the victims of the bear market. And of course, obviously, Three Arrows Capital was one of their clients as well. This excludes the Three Arrow Capital position, but this does include a few things here. So the court records show, and this is just some of the highlights here. FTX winning bid for bankruptcy crypto firm Voyager Digital includes a $51 million cash payment with an additional $60 million in earnouts and incentives. The bulk of the offer, of course, is for the fair market value of Voyager's cryptocurrencies, which Sam Bankman-Fried's FTX will distribute pro rata to customers who move to its FTX platform. That's pretty interesting little incentive there. Voyager's bankruptcy followed the implosion of crypto hedge fund Three Arrows Capital, but it does not include that part of the position. So interesting stuff there. Now, obviously, let's jump over to the next piece of news here. Bitcoin. This is a real surprise. This stuff. If you thought regulation was all done and dusted by the SEC, well, no. There's a bit of a battle going on between regulators. Who wants to regulate? And I think I know who I'd like to regulate at the moment, and that is a CFTC chairman, Rostin Bainham. I think this will be a much better regulator than SEC. SEC already done some pretty poor decision making around privacy networks and things like that, sending the wrong signals. And of course, also harassing a lot of projects that potentially they don't need to harass, like Odyssey, for example. And we obviously got the XRP issue going and many, many others. So I don't know if they're doing it very maturely, whether they're just being too influenced by the extreme parts of the Democrat Party. I don't know what's going on there, but they've got to start making some good decision making. If they're going to have give people confidence in regulation, they need to be fair and balanced and make appropriate regulation there and at the right time. Obviously, crypto changes 10 times faster than anything they could regulate, but they need to still send the right signals. Bitcoin could double in price. Unbelievable for a regulator to even hint at a price rise. Bitcoin could double in price under CFTC regulation, says Chairman Bainham says. I mean, it's unbelievable to do a price call, but that's very bullish for the crypto market to have someone even talk about such thing. And of course, this is pretty much a bit of an advocacy in the market. Argued on Wednesday that non-bank institutions, including crypto exchanges, thrive in conditions of regulatory uncertainty. Now, I think people are happy to have some regulation, protect investors and things like that. But you want to have it neutral. You don't want to have it politicized, right? So this is the other thing. And Rostin sending the right signals from that point of view. And of course, Commodity Futures Trade Commission has said Wednesday that CFTC-led regulation could have significant benefits for the crypto industry, including a potential boost to the price of Bitcoin. Growth might occur if we have a well-regulated space. And of course, Bitcoin might double in price if there's a CFTC-regulated market. So obviously, SEC's come out pretty strong trying to regulate the market. We'll see how this battle continues, but definitely this sort of sentiment tone from this chairman, which sounds a lot better than the SEC. Beanham has consistently argued for the need to provide market participants with regulatory clarity, something that many in the crypto industry have argued is lacking absolutely with the SEC, like I say, sending a lot of wrong signals there. And of course, for years, the CFTC and the US Securities Commission have squabbled over the role of top regulator for the crypto industry, both reluctant to issue much in the way of formal guidance for the crypto companies, choosing instead to set regulatory precedent through enforcement actions. And that's what I said. Wrong signals. You do need to do this in certain circumstances, but they seem to be doing this more on a blanket statement. And of course, we need better regulation than that. A clear regulatory framework, Benham argued, could pave the way for institutional investors to enter the market, and that's what we want. I've been saying for a long time, we're really only maybe 2 to 3 years into maybe a 10 to 15 year regulatory. I typically say 10 years, but given the fact that if we can open up better regulation, that it may even extend further into a 15-year profile. So it's still early day for big money. And of course, we've got the Hex Investment Trust following the Grayscale Trust, and of course, trying to bridge to the fiat traditional markets. And of course, this would play very well. Strong, good regulation, and of course, financial vehicles like Kinetics and Wales Only, and that have set up would be a beautiful thing, matching their fiat gateway and potentially open up the biggest financial flow out of anybody. So that's why I often focus on the Hex Investment Trust, even though it hasn't reached its target yet of 10 million. It is once the Hex price does recover, they should be able to get that sign off from the SEC to go and register as a public institution on the Nasdaq or something, to that some exchange like that, and that would open up all the financial flows from everybody. And of course, then it would be just word of mouth and good marketing after that. The product itself speaks for itself with Hex, 38% on an average staking length. I mean, it's just, you can't get that anywhere else. And of course, it becomes self-fulfilling as you get more funds coming into the space and less and more scarcity into the market. And as we've just seen with, of course, Maximus team of perpetuals, 1.1 billion Hex, that's the kind of momentum that we want to eat up the circulating supply of Hex over, a short of a medium-term period, maybe a 3 to 5 year window. Man, that's going to make Hex more rare. And of course, with relatively low inflation, with the origin accounts, sacrifice accounts, things like that, it's going to be pretty exciting. Now, that doesn't necessarily, it means that all copies of Hex on each chain will thrive and survive, but it does mean that the main chains, and when I'm talking about that, ETH and of course Pulsechain, could work pretty symbiotically together and be both flourishing. And of course, lots of capital flows coming in. There's plenty of money. Remember, crypto is a very small market in the globe, a very small market with under $1 trillion market cap at the moment, and of course, only peaked out over 3 trillion. Still pretty low on that basis. Obviously, on a volume basis, much better, but it's still pretty small. So let's get into it, folks. That is pretty much it. The other comment that was going to be here, non-crypto bank institutions thrive on regulation. They thrive on regulatory certainty. They thrive on a level playing field. These are fantastic sentiments. Man, we could only hope that Benham wins this out. Obviously, it takes a lot more than just the chairman, as influential as he is, to do it. And they may say otherwise. They might bicker about the type of regulation, but what they love the most is regulation, because they are the smartest, the fastest, the most well-resourced. With those attributes, they can beat everyone else in the market. So this is pretty cool. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I will post this in the chat there. And this is kind of positive news in my view, and balancing things out. So cool. That is the crypto market. We're going to get into Hex now. Bam. Before we do that, we're going to catch up with the chat there, so I don't get too far ahead of all the awesome people in the chat. Let us go back in time here. Back in time. We've got, who else? I think we got up to Herv. Woohoo! A very good morning to you. Hey, Herv, great to see you in the house. And hello, Hex Token, everybody from Sandy Beach. Dollar cost average for the win, definitely. And don't forget to get into the poll at the moment. We're going to keep this running for most of the live stream, I think. Time to buy DCA some more Hex. Yes, maybe, no, not sure. Get in there and fill out that poll, folks, as you come in. It's going to be pretty cool. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, smash the subscribe button, hit the like button. Actually, let's pull up and see how the channel's going. Obviously, you guys know I'm just starting to ramp up the new format. And, of course, we're going to be looking to grow. So stay tuned. Hey, we're up to 5,899 subs. You could be the 5,900 one. If you subscribe now, smash that subscribe, and we'll hit 5,900. Then we're only 100 away from 6,000. That starts to sound a bit bigger, doesn't it? 6,000. We just hit the 5555. So stay tuned for that. All right, cool. What else there? We've got Torrin in house there. Good to see Torrin. Who else is there? Great White, Hex Token channel member as well. Let's go. Absolutely Great White. Always a pleasure to see you in the chat. And Torrin. What else there? Shane O's in house there. We on? We definitely on. And BC says banks are in a big doo-doo, says BC. Why don't the Bitcoiners talk about grayscale, suit man? They just accepted it. Yeah, that's more capitulation there. They don't talk about things that I want to talk about there, Shane. At least not in a constructive way. James Coney's in house there. Won't double until 24.25, says James. And you're talking about BTC, I guess you're talking about there, James. Done told you, says Refine. Absolutely. Wales done told you, but Richard Hart done told you, and we're going to talk about that right now. We're coming up to Richard Hart right now. It's always time to DCA Hex, says Bob Wells. Always, not always, Bob, but a lot of the time for sure. That's not always, but I definitely understand your sentiment there. Bob, I'm in the Matrix, says Sandy Beach. Yeah. Bob says, I have to say, I'm jealous. Hashtag the Matrix rocks. We've got KD in house as well, no Hex Token channel member and moderator. Hey, everybody. Good to see you, KD. Who else is in there as well? DB is in the house there. When Moon to launch to Pulse, sir. 1 day closer, DB. 1 day closer. I do think the very possible earliest is this just at Christmas time. But I think most people are expecting sometime in 2023. I do hope for Q1, but of course, no one knows exactly. Richard's going to try and time the bottom of the market, in my view. And so this is just the way it goes. And of course, hopefully they've got the consensus stuff up and running for that when he does. All right, so let's get into the price. Here's the price. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. I saw this last night before I tuned in, by the way. I saw it. Hex looks like it might creep up overnight just slightly, and here it has 3.449. So we pretty much got down here the second time. We were down around about 2.8 cents. We popped out just below that 2. On this chart says 2.8. This depends on the chart you're looking at and the time frames. This chart is different from the I'm using Dex tools here. It's different from my chart on Dex Screener, so it has slightly different looking candles. But the bottom on this is 2.879. I think on my Dex Screener it's 2.779, and I think there's one of the other trading pools something had 2.5 on the dip. So it just depends on what you're looking at. But we'll go with 2.7, 2.8, and of course we were back here. Not too far ago, back in June, remember? We were back here on the 19th of June, 19th of June here. And, of course, we were down at 2.8 cents back then. So second time we've had a double bottom here so far. And, of course, here we are moving higher. So if we have a look at all our indicators in here, we've got the blue lines are the Bollinger Bands. So there's a pretty common TA, technical analysis tool here. And, of course, at the top of the Bollinger Band is the top 95% of the price range. And the bottom there is at the bottom 5%. Now, I haven't talked about this particular chart for a little while, only because we're being down here at the moment, so it hasn't made a lot of difference. But at the moment, we've got the Bollinger Bands. It looks like they're slightly tightening. What I would like to see is a tightening like this here. That would be a very good signal. We have getting a little bit of a tightening here. You can see that the bottom of the Bollinger Bands is starting to wind up here. That's positive. We've also got a cross about to happen. This is super bullish here. Especially the tighter the Bollinger Bands, and we get a cross of the yellow line, which is the 13 moving EMA, and of course over the 50% Bollinger Band. This is the red line. Remember, this is top 95. The red line is the 50% of the price range, and of course this is the bottom 5%. We've got the EMA about to cross. Very bullish sign. Obviously, if the Bollinger Bands were tighter, I would give you even more confidence. But this is looking pretty good on the setup. We're going to look at a few other comments here. Obviously, we've also broken past this 2.4 cents mark. And, of course, we're currently up at we're at 3.4, I mean. We're currently up at 3.449. This is kind of looking good, just slowly creeping up there. But it's currently just broken up to the high side here, just on this local area here. Obviously, not a major breakout, but definitely looking like it's breaking out at the moment with a cross as well, a bullish cross here. And of course, if the Bollinger Band tightens over the next day or two, we could get a nice little rise here. Now, where's it going to go to? I'm not sure. We're going to have to find out. But of course, if it gets over 3.8 cents, that would be pretty nice. It'd be a good start. That would get us back up into this zone here. So that's looking pretty good there. The top of the Bollinger Bands is up at 3.82. So it kind of makes a nice little move here. If it moves to the top of the Bollinger Bands, that would be pretty nice. All right, so cool. Let us jump over to, obviously we're flowing in after the back of a super successful team and perpetuals as well. That a lot of people got very confidence with that, a lot of confidence, a lot of excitement with that. And sometimes after you have a big event like that, you can have a couple of days just milling up there, and eventually you can have a little breakout to the upside. So that kind of plays in well with that narrative. Let's have a look at the DMI, and of course the DMI is kind of positive too. We've got the selling here chilling out. Selling is going down the red line, and we've got the buyers starting to just slowly getting a bit of momentum here on the buyers. That's also reinforcing our price action chart there in terms of signal. We've got the momentum for the sellers dived big time, and of course once it breaks 25, which is this line here, it's pretty much a good chance for the buyers to take control over the bears. So that's kind of cool too on the daily candles there. Let's have a look at the RSI. We got plenty of room in the RSI to move. We're at 45. We can go all the way up here, 70, 80 up here. We've got plenty of room to move. And of course, we've got this nice cross going on here. We do have to be a bit tentative though. We've got the stochastic RSI here. It definitely has shown us our slow rise. So in our price action here, how we're just slowly risen up here. We've definitely seen that. And sorry, let me jump back here. A slow rise in this chart. The price action, we definitely had this is the stochastic RSI has already shown us this slow move up higher. And of course, we would have to have something like this. If we're going to get that real nice move up to say over 3.8 cents, we might need to get this sort of formation here. We get a bit of a pullback, or we might get sort of an arch one there, a big long arch one, stay out for many, many days. So we're watching this here closely as well. But generally, probably going up then down. That's kind of the move as opposed to everything else. And the biggest confidence, of course, is this cross going on right here and the narrow of the Bollinger Band. So looking good. Let's see if we can get up to 3.8 cents. That'd be pretty nice on that one. And we'll see how we go from there. So 3.8 seems like a reasonable a target at this stage. So that's kind of that. And of course, look at the liquidity on the biggest trading pool here. And of course, let's have a look here. There's a 3% pool on V3. And let's have a look here. We've got so the V3 one, double check that one. We've got the 3% pool, and of course we've got here at the moment, we've got the price in the red chart here. So as we move from right to left, we're going up in price, right? So the buyers on here this side, sellers on this side, and of course as we go forward, you can see the price is going up. So if you look at the little ticker box there, you can see the price goes up. That gives you an idea. So at the moment, we've got this resistance in here. We've got a bit of support and sitting behind us for the biggest liquidity pool here as we move up here. And then once we get up to, look, interesting enough, 3.68 cents. Once you get up to here, we're looking good for a move higher. And of course, we drop down in terms of resistance. This is the current picture at the moment. And of course, this doesn't include a lot of stuff off the market as well. But this is just sitting in liquidity pools at the moment. So it's kind of a reasonable indication. And of course, this is the biggest pool by far. And of course, then once we get up to 3.7, we're away. So that 3.7, 3.8 kind of seems like a good place, right? And of course, that's where we would get up on the chart here. It gives a pretty good indication here, 3.8 cents. And of course, at the Bollinger Band. So we've got three little things there that give us an indication that once we get to about 3.7 cents, we've got a little resistance at the moment. Based on this liquidity pool here, which is the biggest one here at the moment, it's at almost 8 million TVL in there. So that's pretty cool. And let's jump over to the Hex Whalebot. We've got the Hex Whalebot over the last 12 hours, 11.1 million Hex bought 12 hours ago for 381. So positive. This is more buying positive there. We had some in stakes with penalties, of course, and that's pretty much it. So one decent whale buy over this period. Bring on the whales, bring on that chart action. We do have, so this is all the bullish side. Now we have the caution side. So on this side, we have the Hex stakes coming out. We've got our big stake coming out, of course. Let's have a look at to the end of the year on our global stakes. And of course, bam, there it is. We've got this big giant thing coming out 1st of October. This coming up on 770 million Hex, followed by some other short ones, 336, 250, and or 410. So we've got these big, recently sized candles. Now, a lot of these guys are short-term stakers. Most of these, unless there's some big, long stake in there that's been around for ages, I haven't actually checked. I tried to check, but my wouldn't bring up the website. Is that this here will just get restaked for the vast majority of it, unless it's someone sitting on some 3-year stake in there, 2.8-year stake or something. Then and I don't know whether they decide to sell or not, but if there's just most of this is typically just short-term stakers just to keep re-staking on their large stakes, and of course what they typically do that up to 3 months, say 4 months in terms of short staking and scraping interest. So I suspect that most of this is probably still just that kind of stuff, and I suspect that we'll just see it pop back up over here somewhere else. Maybe there might be a bit of interest taking. We will see. Obviously, the market has pulled back. When it got down to 2.8 cents here, has pulled back to a 95% pullback. So it does feel like that, unless we're going down to 98%, then, it does feel like that's kind of the double bottom we've had so far. Obviously, we've got the interest rate rises coming up in November. So do we have things that are different from before that we've had? So we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. But so far, that's probably the only caution is the stakes. But like I say, I think that this would probably be a non-event largely. But we might see a little bit of selling in there. That would definitely keep us down unless we had some big whales offsetting that. So there we are at the moment. We definitely got momentum in the chart. So it's looking pretty good. And that brings us up to the next part, which is so what's the outlook? What's the outlook from Richard Hart? Let's have a look. We'll hear from Richard Hart. Now, this is from the 18th of July. So it's about 9 weeks old, but I think largely the sentiment holds true. And of course, his call on Ethereum merge turned out to be right as well. So I think this kind of, listen very carefully. This is only about 4 minutes long and it gives a bit of an idea. And I think all this stuff still holds up pretty well. And particularly here, listen to him talking about potentially Hex becoming uncorrelated to the rest of the market. So listen to that little bit of gem in there. So let's go.
On crypto. Not yet. Now remember, Hex ran up 60x versus Bitcoin the first time it dumped from 65K down 55%. So Hex can totally decorrelate from Bitcoin. I think it was kind of bad timing that it looks correlated now because we had our own cycles, right? There were sacrifice phases. There was other things going on in our own cycles. And so I wouldn't be surprised if some point Hex started doing the same things it used to do, which is just overperforming like crazy. We'll see. I don't have a crystal ball. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, do your own research, etc. But I mean, even recently when you saw Bitcoin like break under 20K, which people are really hoping for, they don't like seeing Bitcoin under 20K. And then if you're a technical analyst, there's some things that say like support becomes resistance. And so, what used to be resistance is support in theory, old 20K top, now 20K quote bottom, but actually didn't hold a 20K bottom at all. Didn't respect that at all. Went down to 17.5, is now sitting at it was interesting. I saw the euro and Bitcoin and the S&P 500 all pumped today. I was like, oh, I wonder if they're correlated. So yeah, I think as long as Grayscale Bitcoin's at a 33% discount, which it is, and they hold 1% of all Bitcoin, and the Ethereum merge might be a buy the rumor, sell the news event. I mean, we see lending people that are borrowing Ethereum for the merge, they're paying like 15% APY to do it. And so, there's some people interested in playing this merge game. And I think traditionally in crypto, buy the rumor, sell the new stuff is pretty common, And so with the risk that Bitcoin dumps due to either just not doing its 85% dump yet, which would put it at, a little bit under 11K, and the 33% discount on Grayscale BTC, which has been consistent. I mean, it's been there for months. And the Mt. Gox coins being released at some point. Those guys suck so bad. Just give us a date, guys. Just give us a date. Let's go. Stop screwing around, The comedy, that whole thing. And then we've got the Bitfinex coins they're trying to sell, which I think is like 94,000 coins or 84,000 coins or something. And then we've got Ross Ulbricht's coins, which I think is like 70,000 coins, somewhere between 54 and 74,000. Can't remember the exact number. I tweeted all these, so you can look these up. So we've got discounted grayscale Bitcoin, which is 1% of all Bitcoin. We've got Mt. Gox, Bitfinex, and the federal marshals probably selling Ross Ulbricht's coins because he signed off to let them do it to pay his restitution. And then normal cycle dump, right? And then maybe buy the rumor, sell the news for merge. So in my mind, it's the dream bottom would be the grayscale discount goes away. Some of those free coins that are going to get released by law, like the Japanese ones at Mt. Gox, or going to get dumped as a matter of law, which would be the Ulbricht ones of Silk Road fame. And then it's up in the air whether the Bitfinex ones will really get sold or not. You know, they might get refunded or they might get sold. Who knows? And I think there was 94,000 coins there. You could look it up. So the dream would be those coins get dumped. Bitcoin's deficit to net asset value in grayscale disappears. And then it does its traditional 11K and pray 85% dump. That's been a nice bottom. And then if they raised interest rates, oh boy, that'd be nice too. Because as long as they keep doing quantitative tightening, QT, it pushes down the stock market pushes down Bitcoin, Bitcoin pushes down Ethereum. That's how it goes.
All right, so that was some of Richard's dialogue there, and of course, I think pretty much all that holds up. But the interesting comments around Hex, potentially maybe being uncorrelated at some stage again, and of course, maybe it was just a bit of coincidence with the pullback in the Hex, in Bitcoin and Ethereum in the crypto market. So let's see how this goes over the next wee while. But at the moment, Hex chart looking a little bit good today, a little bit good, that's for sure. Let's get into it, folks. We're going to get into the rest of the crypto markets prices that we cover in the Hex ecosystem. And, of course, we're also going to be looking at ETH Power, ETH Fair. We're going to have a look at also a lot of the Pulsechain project updates. And we've got a few of those today. So it's going to be a bit of fun. Then we're going to jump into the Hex Daily Stats, which is going to be out pretty shortly anyway. So let's get into it and rock on. We've got a few more comments, though. DB says your poll should have the option out for always. Well, that's true, DB. That's true. It might not be always the most rational position, but I get where you're heading there. Christian Collins says, hello, family. Good to see you, Christian. And Mikey says, hello, all. What's up, Superman? Got in late. Got to rewind, says Mikey. Nice to see you in the house. Sponge Crypto says, bro said pick a date. And, of course, Bob Wells in the house there. Good to see you, Bob. Woohoo! Now, I'm not sure if you're Sponge, you're talking about the Pulsechain launch date sweepstake. I think I was supposed to talk about that today. Good to see you, Bob, as well. Let's jump through the charts very quickly. We're going to go through these pretty fast. And, of course, I got Maxi at 8.3 cents here. That's kind of where we are at this stage. And, of course, let's have a look at the premium over Hex to see how that's been going. So that did get up as high as this on the 4-hourly chart. Let me just move to the daily just to keep that a bit consistent with the Hex coverage that we just talked about. We pretty much, did get up to 2.56 2 days ago. We're currently at 2.42, so holding up pretty well. Just a little bit of relativity profit taking there. So we go, but still looking really nice. Broke out of 225, broke out of 224, and looking pretty good there at this stage. So we get a bit of a rally on in Hex. You never know what the premium could do, relatively speaking. Let's have a look at the Maxi team relationship here. And we've got obviously 8.6 cents there. And let's have a look at the Maxi to team ratio. Let's have a look here. It's currently at 106. So definitely pulled back quite a bit there. Got up to a 1.17 is the Maxi team ratio. Let's have a look at Hedron. Hedron, the talk of the town here. Now, I did say this is probably just going to be in a trading band at the moment. And, of course, trading range, and it's kind of sitting in there pretty nicely. Might just zigzag here for a little bit. And, of course, we'll see how we go. Now, at the moment, 2,837. Obviously, this is the next play. So we had the first big play that I've talked about. These are the probable plays. There are riskier plays, but they're like on ETH Power and ETH Fair, for example. But on the probable plays, we've had the Maxi Team Perpetuals, and I think for the most part they went pretty well. Before that, we obviously had a COSA launch before that. And, of course, now my call at the moment is the Pulse Dogecoin, and we're going to talk about that. And, of course, later on, I think we'll come back into the Hedron Hedron ICOSA again for November, but that's probably going to get front run. So you're going to have to take your position at the right time on that one. The only issue with that, of course, we will be in the interest rate month of November. Excuse me. But that being said, I think there could be so much FOMO on in that anyway with the big fortnight payday on the 13th, 14th there, that it could be could just offset any negativity that may be around. Depends on how long it lasts, but around the interest rate Fed rises. So at the moment, 2837 holding up pretty nicely. At the bottom of the range so far, 2,600, and the top there maybe 3,000. So there we are. That's kind of the range at the moment. All right, so let's jump out of there. We're going to quickly go through the BNB chains, and of course, quickly have a look at that. Now, BNB obviously is holding pretty okay at the moment, $284. And of course, let's have a look at the chain there. So we got Pulse Dodge, the original coin here, at 3,800. So that's just dropped down. So what do we got to call that? Just under 4/10 of a penny. And of course, we had P33 starting to make a bit of a climb back. Slowly and surely over the last 8-9 days. It's currently up at 12 cents, bottomed out at 8 cents there. So just trying to urge itself well back, just doing it slowly and surely. No big giant candles, but that is starting to do a bit of a recovery. Internet money, however, is looking a bit more like Pulse Dodge, and of course just skimming around, playing around at the bottom here, and got no momentum or emphasis at the moment to jump back. So the attention is not there at all. So that's pretty much that on there. Let's have a quick look at the airdrops. And of course, actually, before we do that, let's quickly look. Actually, no, we're going to do it separately. We'll have a look at the airdrops first, and we're going to get the projects all together as well. So here we are. This is the current call for me at the moment, and this has played out pretty well, right? So I called this before the big pump here, and of course, been calling it for a long time before that, saying this is the logical time. And of course, that's been doing that. We're waiting for the dual token with Pulse Bitcoin. I'm going to talk about that now as well. So had a big rally. This is on the hourly chart, by the way, not the daily. Had a big rally to $5.84. Came down here to $4.18 and $4.14. Now, depending on how much you're going to buy, of course, or depending on how much slippage you'll get in the price. So take that into account. And of course, you can check the liquidity on Uniswap under the liquidity tab, like we just did for Bitcoin for Hex, and see what sort of support there. Now there will be some support in limit orders and stuff like that, so taking that into account. At the moment, we're at $5, looking pretty good, I think. Let's have a look at the daily on Pulse Dogecoin. We're waiting for the dual token system. Apparently, it's going to have some pretty interesting gamification, and so there we are. So the plane's looking pretty green. We're going to keep it green at the moment. That's pretty much looking at here. So yeah, pretty good call by myself on this channel, and of course the way it's gone on that one. And we're playing probabilities, right? So this one seemed like a pretty obvious one. Nothing certain, of course, but the way it goes. Now a key indicator was the fact that it held up around this 250. It did break down below 295, $3, but it did manage to hold up this 250, and away it's gone. So pretty cool. Now, can it get back up to the all-time high of $9.53? I think that it's got a good chance of that, looking at this candles at the moment, and depending on how good the gamification is of the Pulse Bitcoin there. The other thing, of course, is that if it does break that mark, it could easily go to $13 to $14 is kind of the next target after that. So there's the two targets in front of us. Let's see how we get on. Now, obviously, let's go over to some of the updates around that. Now, Pulse Bitcoin, obviously on Twitter here, Pulse Dogecoin and Pulse Bitcoin solve real problems to make the world a better place. Better against Pulse Dogecoin, a bet against it. I dare you. Pulse Dogecoin leaves a trail. Dead projects behind it, says the founder. So he's pretty funny founder, to be honest, with some of the comments. But of course, he's been saying it's imminent for some time, and his misuse of terminology is unfortunate. But it's soon. So the market is trying to anticipate that, as you can see. So we'll see how close we get to. He has said that it's getting pretty close in a previous tweet. I'm just trying to see that here now. Can't see it exactly where it is here, but it's definitely recent. We have covered on this channel. So cool. We'll be looking forward to see that. Now you apparently, I don't think it's exactly staking Pulse Dodge. but you do need Pulse Dogecoin but I think you need Pulse Dogecoin to be able to leverage the system. It seems to be the case. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to play out. So that's pretty much it from the Pulse Bitcoin. We'll be watching that pretty closely. So cool. That is pretty much the chart. Looking pretty good though. And that is the current play at the moment. The Wait token, of course, is starting to move up towards the top of the range. The bottom of the range is like half a penny, and the top of the range there about 7/10 of a penny, and of course maybe slightly higher, 7.5 of a penny. And of course, it's currently just over 6/10 of a penny there. Now, this is from the team Coast, which is going to be doing the CST stable, and of course, fiat on-ramp, off-ramp there. They're also trying to grab the attention of Richard Hart, who's put out a little bit of a request for anyone wanting to sell and exchange fiat on-ramp, off-ramp. So we'll look forward to see whether that ends up being one of the options there. Obviously, it's not an exchange. It is a fiat on-ramp, off-ramp stablecoin. But let's see whether that gets in the mix at all. All right, I'll be doing a video later on today about stablecoins, so look forward to that. It's going to be a short form video, and it's going to have some cool stuff in there around Pulsechain with stablecoins. Only getting better, folks, honestly. The delay may be frustrating, but it's only getting better when it launches. There's going to be so much fullness in the ecosystem, covering all the bases that we need to, and it's going to be absolutely epic. So very, very cool. All right, so that's pretty much that at the moment. Let's jump over to the wildcards. These are founders' coins, of course, from the community. And we've had a big move there. Conrad Zen, a project there. And, of course, we've got popular people in the community like Pulse Beta and Streets of Struggle who are in this community. They are in it. Now, obviously, it's over 8/10 of a penny. And I actually watched a Conrad Zen video yesterday. I don't know if I agree with some of his comments that he made, but I definitely, he has been a big advocate for Pulsechain and X. It's currently had a bit of a rally. And of course, remember, it broke the important support line of 0007 back here and then slid down, managed to bounce off just over 5/10 of a penny. Just over 0.5 cent at 5,400. And of course, has had a nice rally here as well at 8,400. So over 8/10 of a penny, heading back towards 1 cent. Looking actually really good, actually. If you think about it, it's got a higher low in here. And all it has to do now is make a higher high and finally break that 1.1 cent mark. That's kind of where it got up to. I think the high is 1.2 cents. So this is actually looking pretty good. It's got plenty of room in the RSI as well at 60. So we're watching that pretty closely. Now, remember, this has a burn-in mechanism in it, and it has a payout mechanism. The payout mechanism is different, right? Because you don't need to have a gas fee to get it. It just automatically is a function that automatically just deposits it into your account. But obviously, you're probably looking, if you bought 1 million of these, 1 million PZN, you're probably looking at currently at the current price, maybe about $3 a day or something like that. So just take that into account. You'd have to do the math on that, but I think that's about right. I got, temporarily lent some PZN. And of course, it's been going up. As you guys know, it was worth, let me have a look here. I had 9,994. It's now 10,000 and just shy of 10,020. So that's over 9 days. So that's about 3 PZN a day on that amount. Let's just do the math quickly on that. So if I had 1 million and I divide that by 9,994, then that's a factor of 100, so it's pretty easy math there. But that would be pretty much times that. So I've had 26, so 26 there. So times 26, that would be. If I had 1 million PZN, I've received about 2,600 for free, and it just shows up in your wallet. You don't have to claim it; it just shows up in your balance for the account. So it's using a particular function to do that. So times the price at the moment. 0.84. That would be $21.85. I would have made on 1 million. That would have cost me, and that would have cost me about 7,500 or something like that for 1 million back when you could have bought it, something like that. So that's pretty interesting. So if we divide that by 9 days, for example, times that by 365 to annualize that, that's like $886 a year in income at the moment. Obviously, if the price goes up 5x, say. Let's say 6x, so it does accidentally put 6x, that'll be $5,300 a year on 7,500. So I guess that's when it starts getting really, really attractive, is once it gets up to maybe 4 cents, something like that. that could get pretty attractive for some people. Obviously, you got to compare it to other projects like Hex, for example, as where you go. So interesting. I'm not really sure why he launched this one, but he did. And of course, other people are launching it. They're free to do it. It's a free society, and of course, that's part of the ethos in Hex is that you're free. If you're not free, then you're in bondage. So there we are. All right. So cool. Let's not get too dramatic, but that's the point there. Okay, we're currently at seven on trade bonds. One here on the More token. We're at 73 cents here. Broke down further. Woohoo! And I said to you, it's not looking good, this chart. I was hoping that it might be able to hold this up, not for myself because I don't own any, but for people that are invested. We always care about people's investments. Even if you don't like the project, you still care about the people and their investments, right? So far, it's not saying that I don't like this project, but even if you're not invested in it, you still want people to do well, right? Otherwise, you're a bit of a narcissist or something, aren't you? I don't know. Anyway, so cool. That's where we're at the moment. We got 73 cents here. We're down at had a low of 70, just over 70 cents here. So looking a bit weak there on the old More token. All right, so cool. That is the highlights to that. Let's jump over to the projects on Pulsechain. We're going to talk about that. Before we do that, let's get into some of the comments in the chat. We're going to be going through Pulsechain project updates. And then we're going to get into ETH Power, ETH Fair, and then, of course, wrap up there with the X-Daily stats. So cool. What else here? We got a couple more comments. How far back do I have to go here? Let's find out. I think we got Brennan. Hey, Brennan, good to see you. Morning, folks. Good to see you, Brennan. Where can I get Pulse Dogecoin? I heard Binance, which is not allowed here in Massachusetts, says Christian. Just on Uniswap with your MetaMask, Christian. Yeah, it's pretty easy to do. You probably use Matcha, Christian. We've got that in the useful links as one of the trading things. Shane says, you done told us. I did indeed. Matt Bali says, hello, everybody. Good to see you, Matt. Always a pleasure. And waiting for a friend as we are taking dogs on a bike to another area. Waiting on friends is like waiting for Pulsechain. It's ready when it's ready. That's hilarious, Matt. That's very funny. What else there? We got Shane says, nice. Will be worth the wait. Yeah, for the wait token there. And Matt and Bali in the house there is sending out the love to the community. Was it Pet Rex says Pet Rex? You're talking about Rex token, Sponge. You're talking about the old Rex token. Was it Rex 2.0? It's Rex 2.0. I think it came out, didn't it? I'm not even sure what's happened to Rex 2.0. Who said no in the poll? I want names, says Briss. That's hilarious, man. Great to see Briss in the house there, by the way. Briss for president. DB in the house there, we're laughing as well. Hey, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button. We've got, we need one more sub to hit 5,900 subs. So smash it out in that sub there. And let's see if we can do it during the live stream. We've got our poll on at the moment, which is pretty cool, pretty nice and tasty. And of course, time to buy DCA some more Hex. Yes, maybe, no, not sure. Get into that poll, folks. 55 votes. Woo! 55. We're looking good there with the numbers. That's pretty positive. All right, let's jump over to some of the updates here. We've got Maximus. Now, obviously, I've cooled off talking about Maximus. I covered it in depth on this channel. As you guys know, there's a whole archive of everything around Maximus on this channel. If you want to go back and see the daily changes, all that sort of stuff that's exclusive to this channel. So check that out. But in any case, we've got Dipcatcher is upgrading his channel and doing full-time coverage almost basically on the Maximus team perpetuals. It's just fantastic to see, a team just so fully support the investor class that they've helped to, set up for. And it's really, really cool. Now, he's got a giveaway, 1,000 Maxi giveaway. I think it's still running at the moment. Subscribe to Dipcatcher's YouTube. And, of course, screenshot and reply to proof and like an RT. So he's building up that community. So it's pretty cool. I'm going to post the link to that in the chat there if you want to join DC's channel there. And, of course, that is the giveaway, DC and giveaway. Boom. So that is his channel. Sorry, I might have not put that in there. Let's have a quick look at some of the updates of the last 24 hours. Gladiators could sit back and win easily, but that's not in our nature. We continue to push forward. If this tweet gets more than 369 likes, we will announce what's next for Maximus DAO before Monday. So this is some real big alpha drop. Now, we were expecting something else. Remember, I talked about that. I had hinted at that, and it looks like they're going to be doing that because they hit over 369 likes on the tweet. So we're probably going to get some alpha there. Very, very cool. So lots of cool stuff happening on their channel. Obviously, Dipcatcher has been talking about the performance on the perpetuals and team. So definitely catch up his channel to see all of that as we've sort of moved back to normal format of covering more the broader Pulsechain and Hex markets. But pretty cool there. Funny Jim made a good comment, man. So pretty cool devs, actually. Public-facing, live-stream code assembly, good-natured. Super to meet them both in Vegas and Pulsechain. Hexagon builders are awesome. So, yeah, really is awesome there. We've got some cool stuff around a trio and stuff like that. Now, if you haven't checked out the dashboard, we've got the dashboard in the useful links here under Maximus team. And, of course, this is the latest dashboard. If you have got perpetual liquid or staked, you can see all your stakes there. And stuff like that. Diamond hands, I think, as well. It's just under the Maximus staking dashboard. I've added this in Maximus portfolio Anvil.app, so you can check us out. That is pretty cool. What else there? I think that's kind of that one. Now, Golkey's here says very excited to announce what's next for Maximus DAO. Solves a big problem I've been thinking on for the past couple of months, and it's going to be a game changer maybe Monday. But of course, I think we're going to get that pretty soon. Cool. Not sure what this is about, but there we are. We got a couple other things there. Kings of T-shares. So lots of cool stuff coming out. Let's jump through there. I think that's pretty much it. Let's go here. Yeah, so 6 hours ago we got this. So this is an announcement tonight. So they're going to look like they're going to be announcing the next step for the Maximus DAO. And of course, we're going to look forward to that coming out announcement tonight. Very excited. So if you are if you're holding Team token, you should be getting excited because that's coming up pretty soon. And I'm not sure if it's actually been out yet because I'm on a different time zone. But cool. And of course, we've got the giveaway alert there. That's still going. So definitely get that as well. It's getting very popular and so on. So that's pretty much highlights. Something big coming out for the Maximus team DAO and a giveaway. Hope you guys enjoyed that. That is from the Maximus team, Dipcatcher and Golkey. Big shout out. Now, obviously, we've got Pulsebot. Rocking it up. I'm going to be covering Pulsebot quite a lot on this channel coming up. This is a more riskier, speculative type of part. But of course, I think these guys are innovating in the space fundamentally. So in the iGaming casino space. So I think this is going to be awesome. It's also going to be on multiple chains, 5 EVM chains at least. And of course, everybody sacrificed. There was 1 million tokens, 100,000 going to the reward pool for people that end up betting in these games. So it's very much in contrast to Hex and everything else, which is more conservative staking and that sort of stuff, which is fantastic with high returns. But this is more speculative. This is more entertainment as well. So it's more in that category. But I'm excited to see how this makes an impact in that particular part of the crypto market because it's going to be pretty exciting. So I asked, when is Pulsepot launching on BNB? I heard tomorrow. That was 2 hours ago. And of course, I got a reply here. Token drops tomorrow. Okay, so if you have sacrificed for Pulsepot, token drops tomorrow and staking begins. So you're going to be able to get that. Very exciting. Isn't that great? You don't have to wait for Pulsechain. I'm so excited that this team, Pulsepot, who Jacob is the dev there, and of course, it seems to have a really lovely spirit. Looks like we've seen from Dipcatcher and Goldkey and Alex McFurdy there. We've seen Jacob seems to have that similar spirit of really wanting to get the best for the community, and I really like that. So I'm very excited for this. Token drops tomorrow and staking begins. So if you've sacrificed for Pulsepot, I know many of you out there have. You should be very excited about this. This is really, really cool. BNB Pot will actually launch within the next 10 days as well. So the first product on the first chain will be launching within the next 10 days. Very exciting. You do not, this obviously these guys were wanting to launch on Pulsechain first, but of course we have to wait along with every other project, all those other 150 projects that are wanting to launch. And of course, but they're going to get onto BNB. I think it's really cool. If you have a really good product out there and you have the opportunity, the ability to do that, then launching on other chains is really great. You're also going to attract, certain users and financial flows from those that can end up eventually being funneled back into Pulsechain, into new products there as well. So there's kind of that financial machine, as it were, or engine. So BNB Pot will actually launch within the next 10 days. Look out for the referral program. There's going to be a referral program as well. We'll talk more about that as well. BNB Pot, BNBP, Pulsepot, PLSP, Binance, BNB, Pulsechain, PLS, and PLSX. Very, very nice. That is definitely alpha, man. We're looking forward to this. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited. Now, just to refresh you of this, of course, they've just finished all these auctions where people, it's pretty much the world's first decentralized casino or iGaming platform. and basically people get to own the house tables. So they get to own the roulette wheels, own the fortune wheels, own all that sort of stuff. And they've got so many cool products and so many multiple chains. It's going to be fabulous. And of course, that's going to work very, very well. I could see actually a relationship with Power City being a natural relationship with these teams. So with the cross-chain swap bridge that we just announced the other day, that's going to be pretty cool. And I'm going to be doing a video on that later on too. So there's going to be lots of cool drop videos later on today. Hope you guys look forward to it. So there we are. Cool. That is pretty much it. I'm very excited indeed. That's big news from my view. Now, the other thing, of course, we're jumping over to Power City, and we've got Jesse, just ask Jesse here. Power City has solved the liquidity depth issue nearly all markets have, where the real gains extracted by some are inverse of the unextractable paper gains from price appreciation of others. Our AMM preserves liquidity one side and always increases depth, and that's fantastic for Pulsechain coming up there, and nice drop there from good old Jesse. Very cool. Now, they've been posting some really cool little insight videos in the last couple of hours on their platform. I'm probably going to merge these together and post this on this channel because it's great to be able to get this out to the community. So very, very nice here. This is the dashboard on Power City. It's got a strategy here and all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to play that as well. So that's looking really, really cool. So to do something with soul, creative, or love, to put something of yourself into your work, Yield Compounder coming to testnet soon. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! We're expecting this in October. Yes, boy. So you can see all these projects starting to deliver now, either on other chains, which are going to migrate to Pulsechain or launch on Pulsechain, and of course, actually launching on Pulsechain testnet as well. We're expecting the Power City Core and the Yield Compounder to come, and it's going to be fun. We're going to be covering it on this channel. Absolutely fantastic. So very, very cool for that. And I will be pumping that stuff out. So very, very excited about that. Obviously, we got the other announcement the other day, which is super huge for Pulsechain. And of course, that's Power City partnered with the multi-chain org for ease of use Pulsechain. So we're going to talk about that too. The stuff is super important. And I have made that very clear on this channel too, highlighting this as being a major, major piece of the Pulsechain infrastructure or ecosystem. It's going to be absolutely epic. It amplifies and accentuates in a massive magnitude all the stuff that Richard and his devs are doing with Pulsechain, PulseX, obviously looking for an exchange, on-ramp, off-ramp, and of course, the own version of MetaMask as well, being that vertical integration that Richard's looking for. So we've got vertical and horizontal integration kind of happening. Fantastic there. Big shout out to Corey Costa there, covering over the Power City as well. What else there? We've got Power City Core DApp review. This is on the 13th September. This is where you stake your Watt token. So this is also been looking for this to come out as well onto the Pulsechain testnet. We'll be covering that as well. It's all coming, folks. We see Liquid Loans DApp came out. We've obviously got Mintra and other DApps out there, Fiat DApp out there. We've definitely got a lot of these leading projects, which I call probably my top 6 coming out as well, all going to be absolutely powering the financial ecosystem of Pulsechain. It's going to be awesome. Get excited, man. We're waiting patiently, but that's given the time, the delay or the deferment or whatever you want to call it, is giving the time for all these top utilities to finish their products, get them up and running, tested, and of course, get feedback, consumer feedback, and of course, that's going to make everybody wealthier at the end of the day. So your X returns are only going to get bigger with projects like this, making it possible. So massive, 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 very exciting. All right, let's jump away from that. We're going to jump out of there. And of course, we're going to get now into, that's pretty much all the project updates. We're going to get into the results of Hex on Ethereum Fiat and Ethereum Power. Ethereum Power first. And of course, we're going to have a look here. We've got 15.6 million in as the block there. 15,641,694 is the block on ETH Power. We've had 56,500 transactions and a volume of just under $4 million there in 24 hours. And liquidity at the pool at the moment, we've got Uniswap still at the top there, followed by Hex, Power, and of course all the Hexes there as well. So Hex still representing actually the top 5 of 10 in terms of volume, in terms of liquidity, sorry. And of course, in terms of a 24-hour volume, we've got Uniswap, Floki, Hoodles there. What else there? We've got coming down. So Hex is number 7, 8, and out of the top 10, number 7 and 8 there with the Hex ETH pair there. So that WETH is actually ETH Power, so ETH W. So just take that into account there. We're at the price at the moment of Hex on there. I'm just going to move back to liquidity. We've got the price of Hex at the moment at 0.01337. So it's definitely the last 2 days has eased back. Yesterday it was a small easing back. Today it's pulled back a bit further, down 15% there. Remember that the high price of this so far has been 0.4 of a penny, so 4,000. It's currently at 1,337. So it's still down quite a bit from that high at a 13 there. So in any case, if you got stuff free on the chain there copied, then that's all free anyway. So it might be worth a lot less than 0.4 of a penny, but it's still worth something. And obviously people can speculate as well as they're doing. And of course you can stake using Okoza app.pro from Alex McFurter. And of course I've done a video on how to stake Hex on the ETH and of course ETH Fair Network using the Okoza Pro DApp as a front end, and it works pretty flawlessly. There's another front end, but of course people have had problems with that. So I just typically just talk about Alex's one because it works nice and smooth. You just got to make sure you're on the right chain. Remember, make sure you're on the right chain, especially if you're going to do something naughty like an emergency in stake. You got to make sure you're on the right chain because you want to early in stake your ETH chain. If you didn't, that's what you weren't anticipating. So just take care out there. I've got a video on that. All right, let's give a look at the news on ETHW. We obviously had in the last little while, we had a new bridge, app.bridgetech.network. And of course, here's all the trading pairs here. Now, I haven't tested this, but this is one of the new bridges they announced. And of course, I have added all this to the useful links in our Discord. If you haven't joined our Discord, links in the video description. We've got all the info here for you guys. And of course, just to make life easier for you. And yeah, here it is added. So if we go to the ETH Fair, it's down actually down the bottom here. One of the latest updates. We've got the ETH Fair network, ETHW network there. And of course, you can add those details to your MetaMask wallet if you want to. Alternatively, you can just paste your address in the blockchain, which is okay, link there and see your copies if you want to. You don't have to do any interactions. You can just see it there. Now, if you are wanting to play around, we typically suggest using a separate wallet just for when you're interfacing with the new DApp or something. Always wise to isolate your risk to your trading wallet as opposed to your staking wallets. We suggest you protect that with all you can and don't interact if you don't have to with anything, particularly things that are new, so that you're not going to be upset if you get hacked, because you don't want to get hacked. We want you to be safe and prosperous. We typically use the SwapSafe bridge for a cross-chain swap there, but this is the new site here at bridgetech.network, which I just showed you. I've also linked the supporting tweet there as well. So that's pretty cool. That is this tweet here. Now, what else have they got here recently? Binance, of course, launches Ethereum proof of work mining pool. That's pretty bullish on the Binance there. So mine ETHW with Binance pool and enjoy zero fees on all your earnings. So that's kind of cool. Now, the one thing I was going to say about that is I'm not sure how much you can actually mine on there. I watched a video of a miner mining ETHW. It wasn't that lucrative. He was using his own mining equipment. So I'm not sure what the setup of this is, but it's kind of cool. Binance is the biggest centralized exchange, biggest exchange out there, so it's kind of cool, and it may do well. So those are kind of the two highlights on the ETH Pal. So we're going to jump out of there. Let's look at ETH Fair. Woohoo! ETH Fair here. This is the other bridge, by the way. This is the new bridge. I was just going to say I have put the link here. That's the link there, app.bridgetech, and this is what the bridge looks like here. So I haven't interacted with it. It looks a nice setup, but once again, isolate your risk in a separate wallet is always good when you're using a thing for the first time. Now, it's probably perfectly fine. I have just not used. There's so many things out there. You just don't get to see them all. But of course, you get introduced to them when you have things like this. So there we are, just another bridge here. So just take care. You can always search bridge text, by the way, and see whether it's had any compromises, any hacks or anything like that with the code, any contracts. You can always go do basic checks like that. Is always a good thing before you have a look there. Don't click on any adverse phishing links, and make sure they're always on the official links. And those are some of the other things as well. So just take care. Right, ETH Fair here. So ETH Fair there. This is on block 15,644,271. It's got 4,000 transactions, so a lot smaller than the ETH Power network. Still no convergence there yet. The volume is at 118,000 there. Remember the ETH Power is at 4 million, so this is a fraction, a 40th of that. So much smaller by comparison. Liquidity at the moment, obviously the top pair Hex is number one on here, not Uni here. So we've got Rich Moon, we've got Fair, we've got Shib, and of course in the top 10 we've got 8 there as well. But basically we've got Hex is number 8 and number 5, number 4. So 4 out of the top 10 are Hex, and one of them is actually Maxi Hex, number 7 there. Now, not a lot of volume, as you can see, and not a lot of liquidity, I should say, in there. And if we have a look at the volume play, Rich Moon, Hex are dominating still, and Fair. So they're still dominating, bigger liquidity and dominating the volume over the last 24 hours as well. Hex there sitting at 34,000, 6,500, 2,500. Hex still dominating, but pretty low volumes, really. Like I said, this is more of a retail bet, but of course, everyone got their stuff copied over, so they can do what they want with that. Let's go back to the price, though. We saw the price easing back there at 0013 on ETH PAL. On Hex here, we've got the price at 0005, which is actually holding up relatively good compared to ETH PAL's pullback, but it is down 9.4%, but it's up 27% on the 6 hours, 14% there as well. So it's actually holding up all right, actually, comparatively to ETH PAL at the moment. Like I said, the all-time high for this was pretty much around 0.2 of a penny. So it's about a quarter of that at the moment. So it gives you an idea of what's going on there. Thin liquidity, though. Just remember that it's really a retail play at this stage. But hey, if some bigger hands go in there, you could see some pretty insane price pumps, right? But of course, that's pretty risky for a while to do that sort of stuff. So we'll see how that goes. All right, cool. That is pretty much it. Let's look at the news for ETHFair. We got MetaPath, new partnership with ETHFair there. So MetaPath, this is probably a big deal for this because MetaPath aggregates major public DEX and supports a one-click cross-chain of more than 100 kinds of on-chain assets, better security, low risk, fast exchange. So that's a really good piece of news for ETHFair. Now I have posted that under the ETHFair, which is a bit lower here. You can see new. I have not used this one, datpath.finance. And of course, you can get access to into this one here, the Meta one there. What else there? Memory Swap officially launched on ETHFair, so that was pretty cool. And of course, the first whitelist project, Rich Moon, which is all that we're doing pretty well on the DEXs on the ETHFair markets there. Of course, Muse NFT Marketplace official launch. So NFTs on ETHFair there. Muse is the first NFT marketplace that supports ETHFair NFTs. Explore, buy, and sell NFTs with Muse. So there we are, a little bit of expansion in the ecosystem into NFT marketplace. So pretty cool. And of course, nice to see that. So there's a bit of news there, quite significant news, I think, with the NFTs and with another cross-chain DEX there. Obviously, Gate.io is giving a trading giveaways with ETHFair at the moment. What else is going on there? So that's kind of cool. That's pretty much it for there. Now, I actually didn't check the prices at the moment of those. So we'll have a quick look at the prices of ETHFair and ETHW. Man, oh man, this is so much fun. I said this was going to be a fun live stream, man, because there's so much going on, right? We've got $11.81 for ETH PAL at the moment, and we've got ETHFair. Let's have a look. ETHFair at the moment is currently at $1.99. So ETHFair is definitely eased down a little bit there, but ETH PAL sort of sitting pretty steady. So both of them actually doing not too bad, are they, at the moment? So look at ETHFair over the last 24 hours, sort of holding up pretty well. Got up a peak earlier up at $12. That's kind of where we are. So you've got two issues when you're going over there. You've got the issue of the Hex or Maxi or whatever other price you're talking about. You've also got the issue of the main coin as well, right? As this is a brand new chain pretty much. So it's still, finding its feet. And of course, it's in a certain climate as well. That's kind of where it is at the stage. So cool. That is pretty much the updates for there. Now, MetaPath there, of course, the new DEX here is here. So you can see that is the new one for Ethereum Fair there. And of course, the interface looks quite nice. And of course, like I say, I haven't used it, but that is the link in the useful links here. So cool. All right, so bam, let's get out of that. And of course, we're going to get the Hex Daily Stats. Why not? Hex Daily Stats. Let's go. And of course, let's get into the chat there. Day 1033, hot off the press. We've got a few more comments in the chat, so I'm going to catch up to those first. We've got our poll still going, so smashed it out. We're going to end that shortly. And I am past my hour and 15 because it's so much to talk about today. It's crazy. What else there? I stepped away. Pulsepot launching tomorrow on ETH, on BNB, Sandy Beach, BNB. Colin, it's actually the first product's going to be about 10 days away, but you will be able to, you're going to get your tokens and be able to stake tomorrow at Sandy Beach. So that's a pretty big deal. I slept, so it's going to launch within the next 10 days is the actual first product there, but you'll be able to get your tokens tomorrow and stake them, which is pretty cool. I slept on a stack on Pulsepot. That was a dumb move on my part, says Christian. And of course, Shane in there. Hey, Shano. What else there, Christian? Yeah, last night I sacrificed a Power City. I did catch this one. Nice one, Christian. Win-win for the win, says Brennan. Yeah, I covered that the other day with one of the founders. Check out win-win. Looks like it could be pretty good. As you guys know, I'm trying to cover the ones that I think that have got something special about them. So these are, we have our safe ones in terms of the Hex, safe and crypto in terms of Hex with the base yield. And then we have a few speculative projects that we cover because after all, this is crypto. We're looking a bit of, if you have a bit of your portfolio in speculative stuff, it could end up being quite good. Let's just see that much. We got Craig in the house. Hey, good to see you, Craig. Woohoo! Craig just had his birthday, so a big shout out to him. Zen is launching soon, says Christian. Yeah, I heard someone talking about that one the other day. October the 8th, says Christian. I'm everywhere, says Sandy Beach. You are indeed. You're all over the place, that's for sure. I have 2 MetaMask for wallets for Zen, says Christian. Nice. Thank you, Hex Token, says Sandy Beach. Say good to see you, and you're winning. You are definitely winning, that's for sure. And Craig there with the suit man. I like that. Looks pretty good. Azro, good to see you, man. More coins. Yeah, there is an issue. I don't talk about all coins because there's most of them are crap. So we're only trying to talk about the ones that we think are good. So that's true. All right, 30th of September, 1033 is the day. We're heading up towards 3 years of Hex. And, of course, we've got 3.44 cents, up 2.3%. Woohoo! That's what we like to see. And, of course, we actually get the last 10 days, if you look at it, we've had a bit of a mix in price changes. So that's pretty cool. We got the Hex payout today, 6.144 Hex per T-share. And, of course, the share rate there, $833. Share price, I should say. The T-share rate up 4.4, 24,217. Like I say, every day, and you can get this for a third of the price if you staked it 10 years. You get 20% more shares per year over times 10. That's 200%. So a third of the price if you want to. Obviously, there's a deferred, you pay yourself later on, your deferred gratification, all that good stuff. The average stake length there is 6.63 years at the moment. And, of course, the APY yield there in emergency in-stake penalty is 37.47%. Pretty juicy, right, for Hex, looking good. And, of course, we consider this more the conservative play. The gold products, the golden plated products in crypto. There might be tens of thousands of cryptos out there, but there's only a very small slither of them that are in the gold standard. And, of course, Hex is right in that bag. So it's going to be pretty cool. Liquidity pool, 240,000 Hex in the pool, down from 266. Very nice. Now, remember, this moves around with people buying and selling. It also moves around with people adding and removing liquidity. So taking into account there. Liquidity in the pool there, 12.6 million US dollars. Very nice. Up over $500,000. We like that. Bring on $20 million liquidity, right? That's what we want in there. And we want people to demand that, push that up. That's what we want there. 1,452 ETH in there as well. So cool. What else there? The T-shares there, up 2,000. Almost back at 10.5 million exactly after, of course, the perpetuals there staked. That was over 90,000 T-shares plus 4,000 others there. Looking pretty nice there as we're up at 10.5 million. Remember, Hex is easy to understand. We have a reward pool with inflation and, of course, penalties in it from people that, early in-stake, good accounting. And, of course, we have an ownership pool with T-shares in there. T-shares stands for trillions of shares. If we get a movement in either one of those, as I always say every day, and this is not for you seasoned people, it's for people that are new to Hex. Then if we have that, then the Hex payout per T-share changes pretty much that. So a reward pool, ownership pool, Hex payout per T-share per day. And, of course, any movements in those two things would change that payout slightly, just slightly there. All right, so cool. Let's move over to where we are at the moment. We got 9.77% of all Hex is staked at the moment. And, of course, apparently the Origin account holds something like 90% there. And, of course, it does get 50% of the penalties as well. We've got 841,000 in penalties, so very nice. And, of course, we've got the changes in current stakers up 45. Like I said to you, the best thing to get out there is just direct promote, as Richard always says. Maybe do leaflets around your area or something online. Just get out there and do direct promotions that typically are the best longer lasting there, help onboard people. And, of course, Hex has had a big pullback, so good DCA price at the moment as well. We've got the wallets up 39. And, of course, we've had some crazy numbers in these wallet numbers lately and the current numbers, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But the staker numbers have been pretty consistent. So we're up to 109,742. And, of course, the total holders, symbolically, we're heading towards 500,000, 500,000 folks. We're up 158 today. We are less than 1,000 away, or just over 800 away from 500,000 on the total holder numbers. Very nice. We look forward to that. As we say, we look forward to that like a gunner. Okay, so the date is day 1034 on the Hex Day journey. Woohoo! 1095 is 3 years. We're looking forward to it, folks. We're getting very close to 60 days away, 2 months away. And maybe we might be doing something special on this channel soon. Let's stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Day 1034. What a session today. Normally I do about an hour and a quarter now, but we're close to an hour and a half because why? There's so much stuff happening, and not just crappy projects, but good projects launching some cool stuff in the ecosystem. It's a real fun time. If you're in Hex, you're not really in a bear market. You're in a building market. You're in a building market. We're building buildings, and construction is taking place, and we're seeing some of the fruits of our labor. In other words, a dev's labor, and people working hard to deliver stable coins, staking products, absolutely innovative GameFi and stuff like that. So it's really coming. It's really, really cool. All right, so cool. That's where we're at the moment. We've got Hex at the moment. We got the crypto markets at the moment holding up. Let me just refresh this. I need to regun this because this is completely lost its render. Let's have a look here. We've got 19,381 on BTC. If we get over 19,700, this could get pretty bullish on BTC, and it may just do its own thing compared to the stock market, especially over the weekend. We've got ETH there at $1,326 and BNB at 283. Hex at the moment just sitting just over 3.4 cents, looking potentially really good here. Let's see how we go. And of course, we've got Maxi there at 8.3. Let's have a look at the premium on Maxi. Premium at the moment is 8.3 cents, but 2.43 is the premium over Hex at the moment. Just pulled back a little bit there. We got Maxi Team at 8.6, and what else there with the Hedron there at 2,900. So just sitting in the range there. Good old Hedron. Let's have a look at our airdrop though. This is the one we're watching at the moment. It's just eased off a little bit there at $4.99, and of course waiting for the launch of the dual token system, Pulse Bitcoin there. We will see what that ends up being. There's a few little clues, but not much out there at the moment. So definitely need Pulse Dogecoin, I think, to leverage that position based on what I know so far. That's pretty much it. What else? Have I played everything? I think I have. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's get into the final comments. We're going to leave it on the Pulse Dogecoin here and see what this does over the next day or two and whether they actually launch soon. What else have we got there? We've got, I like that comment by you, Sandy. I'm winning. I like that. That's what we like to hear. What else there? We've got a couple of comments. Hex Baby says, Astro, let's finish our poll. We got our poll finishing up. We're coming up to an hour and a half. So let's finish. 71 votes. Awesome stuff, everybody. That was terrific. 71 votes, man. That gives us a decent result there. Time to buy DCA, some more Hex. Yes, 69%. No, 11%. Not sure, 11%. Maybe, which means kind of possibly is 8%. So pretty good there. I think we're probably sitting up at yes or maybe sitting at, 77%, which is not quite 4 in 1 people, but pretty close. So big shout out. And of course, 1 in 10 there not buying. Maybe they think that the market's going to go down further in the near term. So we're not talking about the fact that it may be influenced by BTC if it decides to get down to that 85% pullback that Rich is talking about down near that 10,800 or somewhere in that ballpark. We got not sure, 11% people just not sure where it's going to go, and of course that's a fair call because obviously this is we're just looking at all the clues, the Blues Clues as we call. I guess some of you know Blues Clues. We've been looking at that, so it's kind of where we are at the moment. All right, so cool, nice poll, everybody. Summer, miss you all. Says Summer, good to see you, Summer. Stressful Struggles in the house there. Hey, what's up, Superman? Very good to see you, Stressful Struggle. And I bet you're enjoying your little PZN chart at the moment. Looking pretty good there on PZN. And you'll be earning some of that nice PZN divs. Very nice, says Brennan. Very nice. I saw a Hedron for more Hex. It was awesome, says Stressful Struggle. Well done, man. Well done to you. Can't go wrong buying Hex, that's for sure. It is the alpha token. The staked or liquid Hex on all chains. Well done, Stressful Struggle. And Brennan says 24-hour Superman streams when Pulse launches. Hey, you never know, Brennan. Maybe that will happen. Very nice, says Shane. And thanks, Superman, says DB. You're welcome. Blues Clues. Now, we've dropped a few little Blues Clues on the chat today on the live stream, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. We're up to an hour and a half. I'm going to peace out here from now. But let's have a lot of fun. Look forward to a couple more videos from me today. Boom, 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 boom. They're going to be short videos. It's going to be a lot of fun. Astro says he brings the mail. He never fails and makes me want to wag my tail. When he comes, I want to whale mail. Nice one there, Israel. Love your dividends on PZN. Nice one. All right, cool. Let's finish out there. Take care, everybody. Look forward to my next videos coming out today. We're going to have one on stable coins and a few others, so stay tuned on that one. Enjoy. All right, take care. Bye for now.